Hi, good morning. It's now video number 4. It's 2nd of January 2016 and I want to talk to you about why planning doesn't work today. Now, I've already done one video which I didn't plan because I really didn't know what was going to happen, so I've talked it through and it took about 5 minutes and I couldn't get all of it out in one video. So I'm going to do it in 2 parts because the Do Not Go to Ditch programme, we really work on people's planning, decision and time management processes, but we do it from a very unique angle and help people to really truly understand why their past plans haven't worked and what they can do to update their knowledge and their system in order to be more effective with their planning in the future. And there are 6 models and 6 processes that we take people through. So I'm going to go through 3 of them today and then I'm going to tell you the other 3 tomorrow. So one of the reasons for me that planning doesn't work is because we don't include everything that matters to us. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is thinking about your plan. Is it just a business plan? And are you considering the impact? If you focused on that plan 100% and you gave it your attention, what would happen to your health? What would happen to your family? What would happen to your relationships? What would happen to fun? Because for me, the reason why plans don't work and when they're not going to be effective is when if you imagine that your life is a big lens and you're looking through a telescope to plan 2016 and you've only scrubbed out this bottom corner, a third of it, which says, this is what I want to do in terms of the business, then the likelihood is that what you need to learn, to grow, for you personally, what you need for your family, your relationships, if you haven't cleared the rest of the lens out, then only a very a small part of your view, if you like, your vision has got clarity. So what I discovered when I started working with my clients is that when we did a model of, so if you were working at your very best, so that was encouraging them to really think about questions like, where would you be? Physically, it might be which room in the house would you be working from? Or it might be which country would you be? Where would you be online? Would you be offline? Where would you be when you're working at your best? When would you be working? So it could be how often would you work? So for me, I typically work about 9 months of the year. I did when I was my family needed me more. In 2016, I'm actually going to be working for 10 months. Because my children are now 17 and 20, they're both working, I'm not needed as much during the day, and I now feel that I can free more time up to do more of what I love, and I actually love working. I love doing what I do. So my diary is going to be increasing next year. For the first time in about 8 years, I'm going to be working 10 months out of the year. But it also might be looking at when in a day would you work best. So I know that I tend to be an early riser, so 8 till 4 is a typically good day, and I generally work Monday to Friday, which is really weird because I'm actually sat here with a Saturday video doing because I really need to make a commitment to my own plans this year, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in a moment because I need to drill down more, which is what I haven't been doing enough of in 2015. So, but my natural rhythm is Monday to Friday, 8 till 4, working what used to be 40 weeks of the year. So I want you to think about what kind of work would you be doing? When you're really working at your best, whereabouts are you? When would that be? And how would you be working? And who would you be working with? And really take time to think about that and almost separate it from your current business that you have at the moment, because your business or your job or your role may not be the right one for you right now. And that will be why the plan won't work. So it's letting go of it having to fit with what you currently have and just get curious about what would be happening if you were working at your very best. Once you've got that model, I want you then to think about if you were living at your very best. So I want you to think about your personal health and well-being, your relationships, your friendships, your family. What would you be doing? What would you be hearing? What would you be seeing? What would you be feeling if you were living at your very best on a day-to-day basis? Again, where would you be? When would you be there? I remember an activity I did probably about 6 or 7 years ago when I was carrying around this guilt that I wasn't seeing my family and my friends as much as I'd like to. And I actually wrote down all of my family members and put, if this relationship was just the way I'd like it to be, how often would I see them? And what would I be doing with them when I did see them? And how long would I spend with them in that time? And I was quite surprised. There was a couple of relationships there that I realised that as long as we got together twice a year, and we spent 2 or 3 days together, actually the relationship was just fine. And I was spending all this time feeling guilty because I didn't phone them regularly. There was another relationship that was a close family member, and as long as I'd spoken to them once a week and I saw them once a month, that also felt okay for me. And so it freed up an awful lot, and it allowed me to set some systems in place. I had reminders on my phone: have I spoken to this person? Have I seen this person? And I just set them up, and then I could just get on with my life. But I knew that even though I was doing more of what I loved in my work, sorry, I had a strategy to check that I wasn't neglecting the relationships. And it wasn't about what other people thought I should do. It was about how often I wanted to be with those people. Now, there was, that's a separate issue, and I'll talk about it in another video. There was a couple of people who I wanted to see more often than they wanted to see me. And so that has to be negotiated. But the reality is that your living is impacted by your working. It might be impacted because you're not earning enough money, or because you haven't got enough time for the people, or because your head's full of work and you don't come home stress-free. So it's really important that you get very clear about what your living would be like. And again, just for now, for the fun of it, get curious about what it would be like without worrying about how you could make it happen, or whether it's possible, or whether you deserve it. You know, get rid of that critic that's saying to you, you can't have that. Just imagine for a minute if it was just the way you'd like it to be. And the thing that actually holds the two together is your learning metaphor, so your curiosity. What I didn't realise is that, you know, our brains are very much like the computer equipment we use, where we need to update them, we need to delete old files, it gets all very full and muddled. And if we haven't got a high level of curiosity, if we haven't got a high level of being interested in patterns and trends, and noticing what works and what doesn't work, and being fascinated by the stuff that frustrates us, then we can't blend the working and living together and make a plan that appeases all of the things that we need in our life. And so it's really important that you also find out, you know, what kind of learning works for you. Where are you? When are you doing that? What kind of time of day? What time of year? Who are you working with? And how do you learn at your best? And when you can then get a plan that includes living, working and learning without compromise, it's about having all of that all of the time, then the plans that you create are more likely to be ones that you action. You see, if you create a plan and your subconscious brain has history or any doubt at all that that's going to take you towards what you really, really want, it will hold you back. And you'll start to lose traction, and you'll start to lose confidence. And then what happens is you get in quarter way through and you didn't achieve the goals you had before, and then you stop planning. But actually, it wasn't that planning didn't work, it's that your plan wasn't true. Your plan wasn't true to everything that really matters to you. So that's quite a long video today, but I hope it's going to be of use to you. Tomorrow, I want to talk to you about the other 3 models, which is how you make decisions, how you process time, and how you physically do planning. So it might be, you know, and they're all very closely linked to how you learn, how you work, and how you live. And it's when you have those 6 together, that's when the magic happens. So please join me tomorrow, where I'll be sharing with you 3 other models that will help you to get clarity of what you want, the confidence to make it happen, and the tools and resources to really celebrate change in your life. Wishing you a fantastic 2016. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.